$200 will be awarded tonight. The supercars go one last time around the Texas Motor Speedway. They are ready to run. Aiden Norman and Tom Sears, your top two and the two biggest names in this field tonight. Both of them racing for $200. There is the points right before you. One more time. Aiden Norman sitting ahead of Tom Sears by 2 points coming into this race. The gap is now 3 with Norman winning the pole. Tom Sears must finish 3 positions ahead of Norman to get the title and the money. The green flag is out at Texas. Norman leads lap number 1. Some contact back in the field. Elrich George in the Carolina blue car. That's a mistake. We've got to get that fixed. Aiden Norman in the 6-2 leading the way. George driving the brown car this year, and it looks like he's turned up in that blue Ford Mustang. We'll get that taken care of. Aiden Norman leading the way. Tom Sears to his inside. The first 2 laps successful. Briley, Wright, Seth Wansing also in the mix. Let's go on board with Seth in the 9. Still a 2-car fight at the front. Tom Sears in the Dayglow Mustang sits on the inside while Briley Wright tries to push him along. Aiden Norman in the orange Holden Commodore behind Tom Sears. As they run right now, Norman would be the champion. He wins the $200 in this 6-race run. Brooklyn's Nick Pressey making limited appearances in AROC 3. Shoots to the front in his Mustang. Shout out Mama Vols, shout out everybody who's tuned in so far. If you've just tuned in, as I almost spill my coffee, you have not missed a thing. $200 on the line tonight. Tom Sears in the Dayglow, yellow-green, whatever you'd like. Ford Mustang on the outside, leading this field right now. His job is simply to finish 3 positions ahead of this guy, Aiden Norman, in that 6-2 Holden Commodore. Both Sears and Norman, 2-time Thursday Night Thunder champions. Both of them racing in previous ARCS series before. Norman just went green, 30.92 seconds. The North Carolinian being wedged from Tom Sears by Kansas City's Seth Wansing in that blue GM. Wansing now pushing Sears along out of turn number 4 while Pressey continues to lead, and this is what we're going to see all night long. These cars bump drafting, these cars flying at insane speeds down the racetrack. Texas Motor Speedway, the site of the first AROC final. Jeremy Brio ending up with the championship in AROC 1. AROC 3 about to be decided here. Looking back at Aiden Norman, he is just sitting at the back. He's now behind Tom Sears, but it is just a waiting game, isn't it? He is the defending AROC champion in that 6'2" orange Holden. Tom Sears, recently the only driver to win 2 Thursday Night Thunder championships, just gave up that honor to the man behind him, Aiden Norman. He's taken ARCs by storm, and he's looking to prove his supremacy by getting on top of the podium once again. Norman right now sitting 5th, just playing that waiting game, looking back to a couple of blue cars. We're going to fix that here first chance we get to take a break. Elridge George should be in the brown Ford Mustang. Tommy Withers in the rightful Carolina Blue, as Tommy calls it. That Commodore leading the Mustang out of turn number 3 into turn 4. Looks like Thomas Andrews has already had some damage. He's got something... Well, he doesn't... I was going to say he doesn't have anything at all on the right front. The fender missing on that Commodore. Tristan Catania now filling in the space behind him, and the blinking John Honeybrink sitting in the 10th spot. Nick Pressey leading the way. Briley right to his inside in that white Holden. Just trying to draft off the inside of Nick Pressey, and there you have the championship combatants sitting left to right as they go along on the racetrack. Sears in the 14, Norman in that 62. The AROC 3 fight continues. Let's go on board with Tom Sears. Sears incredibly slow out of turn number 2. Coming onto this 13th lap here, let's take a look at what happened to Sears. Just trying to go 3 wide, he clips the grass and he has to let out of the throttle while Briley Wright sails by. Check this out again, Seth Wansing in the mix on the outside. Keep your eye on the Dayglow machine of Sears. Sees the opportunity for 3 wide, and I'll tell you what, if that doesn't look like some practice for Tom Sears right there, give it another 40 laps and I bet you he doesn't lift next time through. The sun just setting on Texas Motor Speedway. Tom Sears in that Dayglow 1-4, now sitting just off of the top 4. Kansas City's Seth Wansing, your new leader in the blue Holden. And now GM lines up with GM as the top 2 start to bump draft. Briley lets out of the throttle and gives Seth a much needed break. Caution is out at Texas. 2 cars slow behind us. Tristan Catania at the back of this train right here. Car number 48 now catching up to the 2 of Thomas Andrews. And there's the contact between the 2. Both of those cars making a little bit of contact that puts them into the wall, and that brings out the first caution of the evening. Drivers are going to get 3 tire changes tonight in our 70-lap shootout. They'll be able to make it approximately 20 laps on 1 tank of fuel, possibly longer if they draft. So we're going to see who comes in, who stays out. We're going to take our first break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more AROC 3 final from Texas. Seth Wansing on the inside. He's got control of the field as they come to green. The caution lights about to go out, and we're going to go racing again. There it is. Green flag at Texas. Briley right now on the outside. He wants to try a little bit of thunder. He's going to lead from the field. Briley to the front, waving the flag for Kentucky in his white Holden Commodore. There goes Seth Wansing now slipping down to third. Nick Pressey occupies the second position. Right to his inside. The supercars continue to gyrate around Texas. This time it's a Ford versus Holden. Front row across the line. Nick Pressey drag racing Briley through turn number 1. Norman goes purple, the 3-point favorite with a big scrape on the right-hand side. Fastest lap yet, 30.5 seconds across the line. At a heavy draft track like that, it means quite a bit of nothing, but that's all right. And you know what? I thought we got Elrich George taken care of in that blue car. I was dead wrong. But that's all right. Nick Pressey leads at the front. Seth Wansing sitting in that number 9. With Aiden Norman coming up behind him. The 94. Just in front of that 9. Here comes that blue Holden to the inside of the silver Mustang. Norman being pushed along by Briley Wright, and as the points stand now, Norman absolutely is the champion. Sears must finish ahead of Norman by no less than 3 positions. So the quick maths will tell you, if Sears wins the race, Aiden Norman must then finish, I believe, 3rd or better. Is that right? It's a 3-point gap, and Norman wins the tiebreaker, so 4th. If Sears wins this race, Norman has to finish 4th or better to get that title. Now you might be imagining a scenario where Aiden Norman might crash out of this race. Well, that's all well and good, but Tom Sears also must then survive to win the title. There's 10 cars in this race. If Aiden Norman drops out right now, Tom Sears, if he gets wrecked, he has to finish 7th or greater. No, 6th or greater. There's still a responsibility on Sears. All the pressure on the shoulders of the 2-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. And there's the man in control. Aiden Norman needs to survive. 3 wide out of the second corner, though. That doesn't look like a great survival tactic as Nick Pressey shoots just in front of that Holden Commodore, who's going to go to the outside. Norman thinks that the outside is the safest place to be. Here comes Tommy Withers, bouncing off of that white line. Carolina Blue, as Withers puts it. Elrich George in the 40. Some distance behind here. We'll get that. Oh, and I have made a mistake. See if we can get that fixed. There we go. Sorry about that. Trying to fix paint schemes on the fly. Doesn't work, does it? Norman to the outside. He's trying to overtake Seth Wansing for the lead here. Now it's 2 GMs at the front of this race. 1 Mustang sitting behind them. Here comes Withers in his Holden Commodore. Sears to the outside. And now the track covered in shade completely. It's only going to get cooler. Cars are going to get even faster. Tom Sears on the outside, and there go the lights that have just switched on those V8 supercars. So the sun is officially set, the lights are on, and the temperature gets turned up just a little bit higher. Seth Wansing trying to hold off Aiden and Norman to lead lap number 26 to the line. Seth Wansing leads by 1/100th of a second. Tom Sears second on the outside line. Tristan Catania, who was involved in that first accident, bringing up the rear of this lead pack. There's John Honeybrink with Briley right in tow. He's got heavy damage on the right front of that 51. Let's see what happened to Briley shortly after the restart. This is back on lap 19. Briley, the white Holden, on the inside. Remember, he does have cold tires. Everybody on this restart with cold tires here. Briley on the inside of Nick Pressey. And to Briley's credit, he was up here and passing. Here, Briley was challenging for the lead. And here's Nick Pressey getting around Briley right still. This is on lap 22. Right on the outside. Norman's going to get underneath him. Still no damage. This is about 3 laps after the restart here. My guess is that Briley just got too far out of the lane. And by this point, Briley's already in trouble by this point. Let's see what happened here to the Kentucky pilot. Let's go back one more here. Almost got into a scrap there, but I just can't tell what happened to the white Commodore. Look at this, 3 wide for that second position. Must have just got loose through the dogleg. There it is, right there. Briley Wright getting loose just before that, the kink in the wall. And he slams his right front corner against the wall. We stay green, however. Aiden Norman to the front, and he's taking Tom Sears with him. Seth Wansing doesn't want to let the Mustang go by, but I don't think he has much of a choice. Tom Sears now going to pull off the draft of Aiden Norman, or will he? Sears without a partner. Now Norman comes to the inside, possibly to give Sears a tow in the corner. Wansing goes down to that middle line. Let's go on board with the leader. Seth Wansing's not done with Aiden Norman yet. Wansing sneaks to the inside. He's just trying to find some fresh air around Norman while Tom Sears watches all of this unfold. Norman keeps clipping the grass in that fourth corner. I don't think he's going to find any pavement down there, but he's going to keep on trying. Elrich George in the mistakenly colored light blue Ford Mustang comes up behind Nicholas Pressey in the silver Ford. 2 seconds off of him is Tristan Catania, who's just off the pace. Thomas Andrews also off the pace, but he's picked up one John Honeybrink behind him. Briley Wright continues on the lead lap, albeit with a very damaged Holden Commodore. Just sounding a little bit off song. Seth Wansing still trying the high side. He will get down in front of Aiden Norman and make the move for first place. Leader once again, Seth Wansing. Wansing continues to lead. Norman now on his outside coming down that front straight. They're going to try drag racing again, but will they come out clean on the other side? Looks like a game of Portal up there. You got two Holdens, one blue, one orange, and the rest behind them. Pacing this field, Norman will get another tire change, but is he playing with fire hanging on the outside? We are past the halfway mark, fewer than 35 laps remain in this third edition of AROC. How about Virginia's Tommy Withers, who comes up 3 hold-ins now on the podium. GM for the moment. Top dogs in Texas. Look at the draft. Look at the pull that Withers gets off of that second corner into the third corner. Tommy Withers now trying to come up behind Aiden Norman. He and Seth Wansing will make contact. That will open the door for Tommy Withers, Tom Sears, and the rest. Withers losing all sorts of speed down that front straight. Withers in the 2-1. Now watching Elrich George go around him. George in last year's AROC colors. Withers in this year's AROC colors in the 2-1. Nick Pressey behind him in the 94. Norman, new leader by himself. Wansing behind him. Sears in that third position. George now looking to get around the championship contender in the Dayglow machine. Heavy slam for Seth Wansing right into the wall with 31 laps to go. Thomas Andrews will come up to slowing race cars, and championship contender Aiden Norman has been involved. Norman has only gone and done it now. He'll definitely have to use a fast repair if he hasn't yet, and it's very, very lucky for him that he has not used that fast repair yet. Let's go back and see just what happened. Looks like they just got together and they made a little too much contact. From Elrich George's point of view. Oh, this is the lap prior. All right, well, let's ride along with Elrich George the lap before. All right, let's take a look. The orange and blue car at the front are going to make some contact, I believe, here. Wansing trying the outside. I don't know if Norman was just trying to throw a block, but it just didn't work. This is the lap prior again. Let's see if we can... This is Wansing on the outside. Oh, they just got close and made contact. They just got close and made contact. Have a look from up above. I don't know if Seth got too close. Aiden may not have moved. Have another look. From a different point of view this time. We can dial this back quick enough here. Just so hard to tell. I mean, there goes Aiden Norman making contact. Tom Sears barely gets through this incident. Right along. This is Sears, the second of 2 championship contenders. Did they even make contact? There was daylight there. Keep your eyes on the Dayglow car. Sears just barely making it through, and it looks like he got a scrape too. Norman most definitely using a fast repair to keep his $200 dreams alive. He's sitting in 6th right now. Tom Sears now coming down into the pits. 27 laps to the end. I don't think Sears can make it on fuel, possibly trying to repair the car as much as possible without using a fast repair. We're going green this time by. Nick Pressey will have control of the field with the incorrectly colored Elrich George. The car incorrectly colored, that blue Mustang, sits just ahead of the blue Holden Commodore. But no matter. No matter here. We're going to keep it moving. Pressey with control. Nobody lining up on the outside. Possibly going green. Not this time by. Not sure. Looks like a single file restart. Not sure if Elrich George got the memo, or if they're letting everybody choose and just trying the inside line. So we're going to see what happens here. Quite an unorthodox restart. Nick Pressey with control of the field coming to the line. Green flag is out at Texas. Let's see how this goes. Just letting George cut in there. Tom Andrews in that third position. Tommy Withers in fourth. Catania already breaking stride. Tom Sears and Aiden Norman now behind him. Sears all over the back end of his championship rival into turn number 3. Quickly approaching 25 laps to go. Wanting to the inside of Catania. Pressey just ahead. Catania still on the high side of the New Jersey pilot in that purple Ford Mustang. Goes right up to that dash mark in that second row there. Seth Wansing almost making severe contact there. Aiden Norman still ahead of Tom Sears, who did not use the fast repair. Look at the left-hand side of that machine. Sears chose not to go with the fast repair. He's saving it for later, and it looks like he doesn't even need it the way he just cleared Aiden Norman on the inside. Norman sitting in 8th, Sears in 7th. As the championship stands, Norman is the winner. Sears must finish 3 positions ahead of Aiden Norman, who's really trying a risky move on the very high side around Nick Pressey. Unbelievable move. He's made it work. Aiden Norman just went the long way around 3 cars in turn 3 at Texas. Watch this. Watch the orange car on the outside. Gets around Seth Wansing. Around Nick Pressey. Wansing still on the inside. Norman has the benefit that Seth Wansing bounces off the white line in turn number 3. Check this one out. Wansing makes his move. Norman with a head full of steam. Watch Wansing hit the white line on the inside. There it is. Wansing wiggles. He then has to slow. Aiden Norman's maneuver around the outside works. He gets around 3 cars in turn number 3 at Texas. And if he comes away scot-free from this race, that will be a championship deciding move. Aiden Norman to the top 5. Tristan Catania between him and the podium. 2 blue cars at the front. 1 Ford, 1 GM. Tommy Withers from Virginia and Elrich George from Nassau in the Bahamas leading this race. On board with the Bahamian. car. Seth Wansing wiggling there. Elrich George at the front. Tommy Withers behind him now. Tristan Catania in that purple 48 Ford, sitting just in that second position. He's taken some damage to his rear wing. Aiden Norman just ahead of Tommy Withers, who nearly goes into the wall. Norman gives him a push and says, "Get me out of here." Again on the top side of turn 3. Aiden Norman knows where the grip is in turn number 3. He shoots ahead in his orange Holden Commodore, following Tommy Withers to the promised land of another AROC title. 3 wide out of 2. Norman then must back out of the corner, probably carry too much speed in there. Tom Sears will now get ahead of him. No reason to panic yet. Coming to 16 laps to go this time by. Norman still behind Catania, running that high side. Sears with a damaged race car just ahead of Norman. Is he wishing he used that fast repair this time around? George still leading. Seth Wansing now behind him. George ahead, Wansing in second, Sears running in third. How will it unfold? The Bahamian leading, Seth Wansing from Kansas City in second, the championship hopeful. Tom Sears in third, Aiden Norman in sixth. He's on the bubble now. $200 at stake inside the final 15 laps. If Norman loses another position, Tom Sears will be your champion. Norman has an undamaged race car and he's just waiting. Sears makes his championship move with 13 laps to go to the inside of Seth Wansing. Norman knows he's safe if he gets around Catania. Catania opens the door for Norman, and Norman can relax once again. He is now safe as long as he keeps that purple 48 behind him. Still many more positions to gain for Aiden Norman. Sears rolling in third. The title is not his yet. Wansing just up ahead. How will it unfold? Who do you got? $200 on the line, and you're watching it unfold live. And these V8 supercars just make such a great noise, don't they? Aiden Norman making a fantastic noise on the outside, just waiting and watching and making his move. The 6-2 is unbeatable. Watch Norman make this pass again as he goes around Elrich George for the top spot. Watch how well he uses that draft. He just gets the slingshot from Tristan Catania, and it's over from here. Just continues to side draft his way up the front. Just marvelous stuff. But he's on the outside, being left to dry. If it goes green from here, will his tires last as long as they need to? Remember, Sears pitted the lap after Norman did, and Norman is trying to do it the hard way on the outside. 10 to go this time by, and then it's 9 at the line in the Tango for $200 at the Texas Motor Speedway. 60 laps about to be complete. Briley Wright now making some noise. Norman slots behind the Bahamian. 10 laps to go. George ahead, Norman in second, Seth Wansing sitting in third, and Tom Sears rocking that fourth position. If you've just tuned in, you haven't missed a thing. One caution to speak of. After Tristan Catania and Thomas Andrews came together, the Dayglow car on the outside. That Ford Mustang is doing battle with the orange Holden Commodore on the inside. And it's very simple. Tom Sears in the Dayglow Mustang must finish at least 3 positions ahead of Aiden Norman in the orange Holden Commodore $200 on the line in the third edition of the ARC's Race of Champions. Seth Wansing to the inside of Aiden Norman for the third position. Sears just ahead of Norman now. Briley Wright coming up behind Seth Wansing. There goes Wright to the inside. Will he overtake Norman as well with that head full of steam? Sears on the outside as he trying the Norman technique. Here comes Briley Wright on Aiden Norman. It's going to be 7 to go this time. Norman all over the back end of Tom Sears. The Bahamas, the United States, currently your top 3. Aiden Norman just ahead. Well, just behind, I'm sorry. He's ahead of Tom Sears on points. 7 laps to go in the Lone Star State. Tom Sears just on the outside of Aiden Norman. Elridge George finds himself just ahead. He's been leading for the last little while, and you know the Bahamian just has the win right on his mind. Tom Sears on the outside has the money, and Aiden Norman almost takes them both out of contention with a big swipe to the outside, and it still isn't over. 6 laps remain when they cross the line. George still leads. Right to the inside of Norman. Tom Sears in tow. Seth Wansing sitting in 5th. Norman just able to cut off Briley Wright. Is he going to use the pass around the outside, Aiden Norman, or will he just wait, not push the issue? Norman snakes behind the Bahamian George into turn number 3. 5. Count them on your hand. 5 laps to go. Norman looks to the inside, and George throws the block. Norman looking for a way around. Tom Sears has dropped down to the 7th position. Have the tires given up on that Ford Mustang? Elridge George continues to lead. 4 laps remain. They're getting tight. They're racing for that win. Norman wants to guarantee it at all costs. Seth Wansing now coming up behind. Pressy in the 94. Tom Sears 5th in line, now 6th in line on the outside as the championship slips through his fingers. It's up to Aiden Norman now to survive. Elridge George comes up off that line. He's going to back up the lower line. Norman slow out of the corner now. Momentum on the outside. The man from Dobson, North Carolina, just sends it down into turn number 1 in Southampton, Massachusetts. Tom Sears 4th in line on the outside. Norman snaking with George down that back straight. Ford leads. Holden behind him, coming to 2 laps to go. The final 3 miles. Lap 69 at Texas. Elridge George leads Aiden Norman. Brooklyn's Nick Pressy to the outside. He's got a big shove from Seth Wansing. Thomas Andrews now getting involved. How are your nerves? Pressy gets shot to the outside, 3 and 4 wide. Norman now falls in line behind George. White flag out this time. George leading, he hits the line. There goes Norman, down on the inside. Norman sinking like a stone. Where will Tom Sears go? Contact, two cars in the wall. Sears behind Andrews, he's got nowhere to go. Wansing leads. Norman sitting in 5th. Sears in 7th. George drops out, he's done. Wansing leading Pressy coming down the back straight. They snake down the back. Wansing leads. The man from Kansas City with a shot to win. Here comes Briley. Out of turn number 4, Kansas City, Seth Wansing will hold off Briley Wright in a photo finish. Wansing wins at Texas. Aiden Norman finishes 3rd, and for the 2nd straight year, Norman wins the ARC's Race of Champions, and $200 is his. 6 races, 6 poles. Aiden Norman comes away with the win, his 4th win in 6 races Norman is your AROC champion. And as the numbers go, had Norman not won those 6 poles, it would have been a much closer title. I think it might have been a tie, but my math is normally incorrect. Seth Wansing will celebrate, as is his race winning right. The driver of the number 9 does donuts in the grass. We're going to have him in the podium at the end of this race. Briley Wright, Aiden Norman will join him. Fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to celebrate the end of another successful ARC's Race of Champions. Seth Wansing will continue to celebrate. On the podium now with our top 3, starting with tonight's second place finisher, Briley Wright. Silver medal tonight in AROC. Did you have fun tonight?
Oh yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, these cars looked like a lot of fun with that drafting, man. For a moment, it looks like you almost had Seth Wansing, but you came about a straightaway too short.
Yeah, I just couldn't get the run that I needed coming out of 1 and 2. I knew if I could have set that up and got the run started on them, I could have made a move from there. But I kind of had to set it up in 3 and 4, and I didn't think it was going to have, or didn't think I was going to have enough time. I needed him to mess up a little bit, but it didn't happen. Congratulations to Seth on the win, and I'll take P2.
Congratulations to you on a second place finish, man. We'll see you in a few weeks here for TNT.
All right, we'll see you, Rick.
Tonight's winner, Seth Wansing, the pride of Kansas City, Missouri, getting the W. He said, Seth, you said earlier today in the Discord chat, I might make my return. You make your return, and you win the damn race, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody that was racing tonight. That was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun battling Aiden, a lot of the race, and Lurkin and Briley and all these guys. They're so much fun to race with, and there was a lot of respect. But yeah, man, it was a little tight on fuel, and I was just kind of riding behind Boss there for 5 or 10 laps, and that really helped. But I had a ton of fun, and yeah, I wish I would have made more. Just had some life and personal stuff going on, but happy to make it out tonight. And heck yeah, I got to win at No Limits Texas, man. Can't ask for much more than that.
A successful first place run for you, buddy. We'll also see you for TNT in a few weeks, man. Congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you for broadcasting, and congrats to Aiden and Lurkin on a great championship battle, and congrats to Aiden on the championship.
Let's talk to Aiden Norman. Third place tonight. Aiden, unofficially, the gap is 6 points ahead of Tom Sears. Briley Wright will get the bronze with 64 points. But most importantly, man, $200 and a second consecutive AROC title. Congratulations, Aiden Norman.
Yeah, I appreciate it. There's something about Thursday nights, apparently. I'm really good on Thursday nights, so it was a lot of fun tonight and a lot of fun all season. This has been great.
So, the ARC's Race of Champions winner 2 times now, and coming up this season, we're starting in August, a run for a 3rd Thursday Night Thunder Championship, and you were the first driver to get 2 consecutive titles. Are you going to be the first driver to get 3 consecutive titles?
That's always the goal, Rick. I mean, I'm out here to win. Obviously, I try and come in every week and do the best I can, run up front. And most weeks I do good at that. Some weeks we have some issues, mainly at super speedways. I hate super speedways. Tonight was almost one of those with me and Seth getting together. I think there was quite a bit of net code there because he was alongside me, and then I felt like I got T-boned, so the wheel just got ripped out of my hands. But I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to the upcoming season, and I'm gonna fight it out.
It's going to be a great fight. Congratulations on that championship.
Yeah, thank you.
Fans at home, that puts a cap on the third edition of AROC 3. 6 races up and 6 races down. Aiden Norman with 6 poles, 4 wins, and 83 points to Tom Sears' 77 points, wins the AROC 3 title. It has been an unbelievable race. It has been my absolute privilege to broadcast AROC. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other. Don't forget, Thursday Night Thunder will be starting right here on Rick James TV coming up in just a few weeks. Mid to late August, we're going to get that started. Stay tuned on Twitter for more. And until that next race,